The rooms you're not invited into. Why Black women entrepreneurs are still building empires alone. Welcome to Soft Girl Era, the sacred space where strong Black women unlearn survival, rediscover softness, and reclaim the joy, rest, and freedom they deserve. I'm your host, LeAnne Dolce, pronounced Dolce, like sweet softness whispered in French. I'm your guide from burnout to boundaries, from doing to being, from strong to soft, and loving every second of it. Today, I want to share something with you that came from a powerful conversation I had recently with LaFaye Noel, a visionary who is not just building businesses, but building bridges, creating pathways, and opening doors that have been locked for far too long. LaFaye is transforming the landscape for Black women entrepreneurs in ways that most people don't see, don't talk about, and don't celebrate enough. Their work is a testament to what happens when we refuse to accept the limitations placed on us and instead choose to create the world we deserve. What LaFaye shared with me challenged everything I thought I knew about what it really takes to succeed as a Black woman in business. And I believe it will challenge you too. So let's talk about something we don't talk about enough. We celebrate the hustle, we applaud the grind, we honor the resilience. And yes, Black women are resilient. We are strong. We are capable of doing the impossible with less than nothing. We've been doing it for generations. But here's what LaFaye helped me see in a whole new light, and it shook me to my core. The greatest barrier Black women entrepreneurs face is not always direct discrimination. It's not always the obvious no, the closed door, the denied loan. It's something far more insidious, far more exhausting, far more damaging. It's the compounding effects of exclusion from critical support systems, especially networks, mentorship, and accessible funding. Let me say that again because it's important. The biggest barrier is not always what's done to us, it's what's withheld from us. It's the rooms we're not invited into, it's the mentors who never see us, it's the networks that don't include us, it's the funding that flows everywhere except to us. And here's the kicker, the part that will make you sit up and pay attention. Even within women focused entrepreneurial spaces, Black women are often further marginalized. Our unique challenges are overlooked, unaddressed, invisible. Think about that for a moment. We show up to spaces designed for women, and still we are on the outside looking in. We are told to lean in, to speak up, to take up space. But when we do, the support isn't there. The mentorship isn't there. The funding isn't there. And we're left wondering, what are we doing wrong? But, sis, let me tell you, you're not doing anything wrong. The system was never designed to support you in the first place. And that's not an excuse, that's a fact. And facts demand action. LaFaye introduced me to the work of an organization in Canada called the Black Women Collective, and it opened my eyes even wider. This organization was founded because research showed over and over again that Black women entrepreneurs were underrepresented, underfunded, and underestimated. The data was clear. The gaps were undeniable. But instead of just publishing reports and hosting panels, the Black Women Collective did something about it. They created education programs, they built mentorship opportunities, they developed financial literacy workshops, they advocated for policy changes, they turned grassroots organizing into a national resource. And since their inception, they've provided mentorship and skill building to over 1,000 Black women entrepreneurs across Canada. 1,000 women who were told implicitly or explicitly that they didn't belong, that they couldn't succeed, that their dreams were too big or too risky or too niche. 1,000 women who now have the tools, the confidence, and the community to build the businesses they were called to build. But here's the thing, the reach is still limited. Geographic barriers, systemic obstacles, they're still there. The work is far from done. And that should make us angry, not bitter, but motivated, fired up, ready to do something about it. And it's not just in Canada. LaFaye shared insights from a recent survey conducted by SoFi, which interviewed over 1,000 women business owners in the United States, including Black women founders. The findings were both inspiring and heartbreaking. Most of these women had no financial help, no support network. They relied on personal savings. They taught themselves financial management. They figured it out on their own because they had to. And when asked what their biggest challenges were, the top answers were networking and mentorship. Not capital, not business strategy, connection, guidance, someone to believe in them and show them the way, someone to open a door, someone to make an introduction, someone to say, I see you and I'm going to help you succeed. But despite all of that, despite the lack of funding, despite the isolation, despite the barriers, these women reported high levels of satisfaction and motivation. They were entering male dominated industries and thriving. They were innovating, adapting, building their own networks because no one else would. They were doing it anyway. And that, sis, is resilience. But resilience alone is not enough. And that's the truth LaFaye wants us to sit with. That's the truth I want you to feel in your bones. Resilience is foundational, but building a strong support system is essential for sustainable success. Black women entrepreneurs have consistently demonstrated resilience. We have shown up over and over again in spaces that were not designed for us, with resources that were not meant for us, and we have built empires anyway. But the path forward requires more than grit. It requires intentional access to networks, mentorship, and practical resources. It requires systems that see us, support us, and invest in us, not as charity, not as diversity initiatives, but as the brilliant, capable, visionary leaders that we are. And let's talk about funding for a moment, because this is where the gap becomes a chasm. Despite record rates of business creation, Black women founders receive less than 1% of venture capital funding in North America. Less than 1%. Let that sink in. We are starting businesses at higher rates than any other demographic, and yet we receive almost none of the funding. We are forced to self fund our ventures, which restricts growth and perpetuates economic disparity. This is not a reflection of our capability. This is a systemic issue. This is a choice that investors, institutions, and gatekeepers are making consciously or unconsciously every single day. And we need to call it what it is. It's exclusion, it's bias, it's a refusal to see our potential as worthy of investment, and it has to stop. LaFaye also introduced me to the work of She Works California, a program designed specifically to help Black women gain skills, access jobs, build confidence, and lead their communities. The program was created in response to persistent wage gaps and underrepresentation. Black women in California are overrepresented in poverty. They face housing instability, childcare challenges, and earn only about 60 cents for every dollar paid to white men. 60 cents for the same work, for the same hours, for the same brilliance, for the same dedication. She Works provides job training, leadership development, and empowerment programs tailored to Black women's needs. And the outcomes have been transformative. Participants have reported increased employment, confidence, and leadership roles in their communities. The program is turning data into action, driving economic mobility and community leadership among Black women. And here's what I love about this: it's not just about getting a job, it's about reclaiming power, it's about stepping into leadership, it's about creating a ripple effect that transforms entire communities. It's about saying, I deserve more and I'm going to build it. But here's where it gets even more real: motherhood introduces unique entrepreneurial challenges that demand tailored solutions. Black women who are mothers face additional burdens balancing childcare and business demands, often with inadequate institutional support. We are expected to show up as CEOs, as caregivers, as community leaders, as everything to everyone, and we're doing it without the safety nets that other entrepreneurs take for granted. We're doing it without affordable childcare. We're doing it without flexible work policies. We're doing it without understanding from investors who question our commitment because we have children. We're doing it without the village that we're told it takes. And yet we're still doing it. We're still showing up. We're still building. We're still leading. But at what cost? At what cost to our health, our peace, our joy, our softness? Addressing these realities is crucial for creating inclusive ecosystems where all Black women can thrive, not just survive. So, what does all of this mean for you, sis? What does it mean for us as we step into our soft girl era, as we release the cape, as we redefine what strength looks like? It means we have to stop believing the lie that we can do it all alone. It means we have to stop wearing our exhaustion as a badge of honor. It means we have to start demanding the support, the resources, the networks, and the funding that we deserve. Not because we're asking for a handout, but because we've earned it, because we've been building, creating, and leading without it for far too long. LaFaye's work and the work of organizations like the Black Women Collective and She Works California is showing us what's possible when we intentionally create systems that support Black women, when we build networks that include us, when we offer mentorship that sees us, when we invest in businesses led by us. The transformation is undeniable. The impact is generational. The change is real. But it requires all of us to show up differently. It requires those of us with resources to share them. It requires those of us with networks to open them. It requires those of us with influence to use it. And it requires those of us who are tired, who are overwhelmed, who are barely holding it together, to give ourselves permission to ask for help, to seek out support, to stop trying to do it all alone. Here's the truth that no one wants to say out loud. We have been conditioned to believe that our strength is measured by how much we can carry, that our value is tied to how much we can endure, that our worth is proven by how little we need from others. But that's a lie. That's a trap. That's the very thing that keeps us exhausted, isolated, and under resourced while everyone else builds empires with teams, with funding, with networks, with support. And we deserve better. We deserve access. We deserve investment. We deserve mentorship. We deserve to build without breaking ourselves in the process. We deserve to thrive, not just survive. We deserve softness, rest, joy, and success all at the same time. And we don't have to choose between them. So here's my question for you. And I want you to really sit with this. How will you use your resources, networks, or influence to intentionally support Black women entrepreneurs, especially those whose stories and needs have been overlooked by mainstream business communities? What one actionable step can you take this week to foster inclusion and resilience in your professional circles? Maybe it's making an introduction. Maybe it's sharing a resource. Maybe it's investing in a Black woman owned business. Maybe it's mentoring someone who reminds you of yourself 10 years ago. Maybe it's simply showing up and saying, I see you, I believe in you, and I'm here to support you. Maybe it's using your privilege, your access, your platform to open doors that have been closed for too long. Because here's the truth, sis. We are not meant to do this alone. We were never meant to carry it all. And the soft girl era is not about giving up. It's about letting go of what was never ours to carry in the first place. It's about building the support systems we need so that we can thrive, not just survive. It's about creating a world where Black women entrepreneurs don't have to be superhuman just to succeed. They can be soft, they can be supported, and they can be wildly successful all at the same time. So let's honor the resilience, let's celebrate the strength, but let's also demand the systems, the networks, the mentorship, and the funding that make success sustainable. Let's build the world that LaFaye Noel is building. One connection, one investment, one act of intentional support at a time. Because when we do, we don't just change our own lives, we change the trajectory for every Black woman who comes after us. We create a legacy of access, of opportunity, of possibility. We become the doors that were never opened for us. We become the mentors we never had. We become the investors who see potential where others saw risk. And that, sis, is how we change the world. Not by doing it all alone, but by building together, by supporting each other, by refusing to accept the limitations placed on us, and instead creating the world we deserve. A world where Black women entrepreneurs are not just surviving, but thriving. A world where our brilliance is seen, our potential is invested in, and our success is inevitable. So let's get to work. Let's open the doors. Let's build the networks. Let's fund the dreams. Let's mentor the next generation. Let's create the world where every Black woman entrepreneur has access to the resources, the support, and the opportunities they need to succeed. Not because it's easy, but because it's necessary, because it's right, because it's time. The rooms you're not invited into, let's build our own, and then let's hold the door open for every sister coming behind us.